So I don't know how this flew under the radar, but a piece of the sun breaks off and it stuns scientists. Very curious. Scientists were left baffled after material broke off of the sun's surface and created a tornado like swirl around its northern pole. The remarkable phenomenon was caught by NASA on the James Webb Space Telescope and tweeted by Dr. Tamitha Skov, a space weather forecaster. Talk about polar vortex, she wrote last week. Material from a northern prominence just broke away from the main filament and is now circulating in a massive polar vortex around the north pole of our star. Implications for understanding the sun's atmospheric dynamics above 55 degrees here cannot be overstated. Unusual activity typically occurs at the sun's 55-degree latitudes once every 11-year solar cycle, according to experts, but this incident is stumping researchers. A prominence is a large bright feature that extends outward from the sun's surface. Outward from the sun's surface. Other filament tearaways have been observed in the past, but not like this though. Solar physicist Scott McIntosh, the deputy director at the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Colorado, told Space.com that researchers aren't sure what causes such a unique event. Once every solar cycle, it forms at the 55-degree latitude and starts to march up to the solar poles, McIntosh said. It's very curious. There's a big why question around it. Why does it only move towards the pole one time and then disappears and then comes back magically 3 or 4 years later in exactly the same region? While experts admit it's probably has something to do with the sun's magnetic field, the rest remains a mystery due to humanity's limited view of its star. Scientists can only view the sun from the ecliptic plane, or the geometric plane that contains the orbit of Earth. The European Space Agency's Solar Orbiter mission, which is taking photos of the sun while raising its orbit beyond the ecliptic plane, might provide answers, but until then, the researchers are left scratching their heads. Experts have observed solar projections fairly often, such as last year's solar flares that threaten to impact Earth. Such projections could disrupt GPS systems, power grids, and even radio signals, researchers warned at the time, although there's no way to precisely predict how this solar vortex would affect our planet. Just this month, the sun projected multiple powerful flares that disrupted communication on Earth, according to Space.com. Although it appeared otherwise harmless, the sun is en route to reach its peak activity during the current 11-year cycle in 2025. Okay. So they just gave us a timeline. He said 2025. Okay. So if a piece of the sun broke off and is just sitting there at the north now, how many more pieces are going to break off? What's going on? Is there something they know they're not telling you? How is the magnetic fields on all the planets being disrupted? What is disrupting it? There has to be some sort of real investigation into this. There has to be a better answer, a better hypothesis, because it appears we're being lied to once again. And this little small article on it gives us insight into what to prepare for in 2025. So, we all know the Earth's going through a pole shift. We all know the magnetic North Pole is now shifting towards Russia. We know that places on Earth that are cold are going to be hot, and wherever it was hot is going to be cold. And the Earth goes through seasons, and I'm guessing the Earth spins on its axis like seasons. So that's just what I think. But what do you think? Let me hear your conspiracy theories. Let me hear your theories. Everything's a conspiracy theory until it's proven so. I hate that word anyways, conspiracy theory. Coined by the CIA. I absolutely hate it. But let me know what you think about this article.